Welcome to the second session on the latest announcement from Hitachi Vantara in the mid-sized market. I'll be talking about three things. The first one is the disk revenue forecast for the next 3 to 4 years out in the future. Then I'll be talking about the hybrid cloud stack, and finally data and place upgrade, where you can take a mid-sized controller, upgrade it non-disruptively to the next generation controller. But let's start with what we call the disk revenue for the next 3 years. So if we look at where customers are spending their money, they have an option when they buy a mid-range controller to take all-flash array. In that sector, the amount of money spent in 2021 is around 11 billion. If we then look at a mid-sized storage system that is more into what we call hybrid flash array, this one is another 11 billion spent. And then if we look at what we call mechanical disk drives, the amount of money spent here is just above 6 billion. So if we look at what customers are telling us and what analyst companies are telling us and what our innovation department indicates it will look like in about 3 to 4 years from now, so we look out into the future in 2024, we can see that all flash array are going to increase, which is not surprised for us, that it goes up to 17 billion. But we can also see that hybrid array will continue to increase to around 13 billion, and then mechanical disk drives will drop to around 3-point-something billion. Why is this important to understand what you're going to buy in the future? Well, this is really important when you buy a mid-range storage system, that you are sure that you support all the different media in the market. In the first session, we spoke about our 2U box, which is an NVMe storage controller that we announced last year and put into the market. This one is now supporting other media like SSD drives and hard drives as well. And then you can put what we call external storage behind it, which means that you can give your existing storage array a new life. In here, you can put something like 144 petabyte behind it, and you can even go up to 286 petabyte behind the storage system. A lot of capacity behind what we call a 2U box. Great value for our customers. The next topic I would like to talk a little bit about is what we call the hybrid cloud stack. This is a fairly new platform that are emerging at many customers in their data center. And this one is emerging because of a reason. A lot of companies would like to go to the edge, to the core, to the cloud with their data and even their application. They want to reach out to end consumers and give them recommendations and advice to how to use their product or service, but they also want to understand how they're using it at the edge. So having that hybrid cloud platform becomes really important. This one is part of a transformation that is going on in the data center. We have seen monolith application running on the infrastructure for the last 30 years. That monolith application are now moving into distributed application. And in that world, a hybrid cloud stack is absolutely critical. Whether you're using mainframe, Unix, VMware, or hybrid cloud stack, it all relies on the hardware underneath. So the infrastructure you invest in needs to be possible to have on a weekly, daily, and hourly basis the capability to reconfigure that from one platform to another platform. The hybrid cloud stack is about having a storage system that you got in your data center with the right integration, with the right APIs into that hybrid cloud stack. But it's actually more than that. The hybrid cloud stack is also about a stack of perhaps Antos from Google, a platform you want to have and create your application around. but it's certainly also about the data fabric, where you can control your data from edge core to cloud. And this is why Hitachi is spending money and innovating on the data fabric as well. It's part of the entire hybrid cloud stack that you establish in your data center for going to the edge, to the core, to the cloud. Now let's have a look at something which is equally important: data migration. So when you buy the 2U box, which is in the mid-sized market, this box is prepared for what we call data in place upgrade. It does have a module that is called Hitachi Interconnect Edge. And with that module, we can open up in the future for swapping the controller non-disruptly to the next generation. Let's have a look at what we call data in place upgrade. So how does that work? When a customer buys a storage system, they typically buy it with some sort of a media behind it. When that storage system is coming to the end of the life, they buy another storage system that they put into their basement, and they also put disk media behind it. Then they spend time on how can they migrate data into that new platform. This is time consuming. You can use application, you can use VMware, you can copy data from one platform to another platform. Often that process can take up to a quarter, in some cases up to a half a year before you migrate your data to the second platform. You got twice as much space in the basement, power, cooling, and so on. So what we are opening up for with Hitachi Interconnect Edge in that new mid-range system is when you buy that mid-range system and you select whatever media you would like, you have the option to put in the Hitachi Interconnect Edge connected to the next generation platform, maybe 3 to 4 years down the road. And then you simply swap the controller non-disruptively. So you keep your storage and your media behind the new controller, but you can take this one out. In that, you're doing an online swap to the next generation controller. I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I hope I gave you some insights to the latest announcement coming from Hitachi Vantara, talking about disk media, hybrid cloud stack, and data in place upgrade. Stay tuned for more information.